Today, we will start with the conjuncts which can be formed by প-বর্গ, অন্তঃস্থ and ঊষ্মবর্ণ. Now let's start the journey. Now, প-class alphabets, while forming clusters with other consonants, sometimes permit the other consonants to retain their original shapes and sometimes do not. Let's look at some of those examples. Firstly, প-বর্গ does not form any conjuncts with the members of ক-বর্গ. Similarly, প-বর্গ also does not form any conjuncts with the members of চ-বর্গ. Again, there is no cluster formation between the members of প-বর্গ and ট-বর্গ. Now, when the merge between প-বর্গ and ত-বর্গ happens, we get 5 conjuncts from this. The first conjunct is প-এ-তয়. Banjan Borno প merge with ত and form the প-এ-তয় cluster. In this cluster, the second member ত attaches below the first member প. Both of the consonants here retain their shapes when forming the cluster. In words, we can get gupto, which means secret, and shoptaho, which means week in a calendar. The second conjunct we have is প-এ-দন্তের-নয়. প-এ-দন্তের-নয় cluster is formed when Banjan Borno প make cluster with দন্তের-ন. Both of these consonants retain their shape in the cluster. It can be seen in word like স্বপ্ন, which means dream. The third cluster is বর্গীয় ব-এ-দয়. In this cluster, বর্গীয় ব and দ form the cluster ব-এ-দয়. Both of the consonants retain their shapes in the conjunct formation process. We have the words like shobdo means sound and jobdo, which means forfeited. The fourth cluster is ব-এ-ধয়. In this cluster, the second member ধ changes its shape completely and form the cluster ব-এ-ধয়. In words, we can find lobdho, which means gained, and khubdho, which means offended. The last conjunct of this merge is ম-এ-দন্তের-নয়. Cluster ম-এ-দন্তের-নয় is formed with 2 consonants. The first one is ম, which changes its shape, and the second consonant is দন্তের-ন, which retains its shape. We have words like nimno, which means lower, and shushumna, which means spinal cord. The next merge is প-বর্গ with অন্তঃস্থ-বর্ণ. Here again we will get conjuncts with জ-ফলা, র-ফলা, some other clusters. First start with conjuncts where the second member is জ-ফলা. First we have প-এ-জ-ফলা. We have দুষ্প্রাপ্য, which means rare, and প্যাঁচা, which means owl. Next is ব-এ-জ-ফলা. In words, we have ব্যবসা means business, ব্যথা, which means pain, and বক্তব্য, which means opinion. The third is ভ-এ-জ-ফলা. It can be seen in সভ্যতা, which means civilization. অভ্যাস means practice, and লভ্য means profit. The last is ম-এ-জ-ফলা. In words, we have গ্রাম্য, which means rural, ভারসাম্য means balance, and তারতম্য means difference. As we already know, in জ-ফলা, অন্তঃস্থ জ changes its shape completely. Now, let's look at those clusters where র-ফলা is the second member. The first conjunct is প-এ-র-ফলা. We have words like prothom means first, pran means life, and prokriti means nature. The second conjunct is ব-এ-র-ফলা. In words, we have tibro means intense, brahmo, a mythical concept, and brahmon, which is a caste. The third cluster is ভ-এ-র-ফলা. We have bhromon, which means travel, bhrom means illusion, and bhrumor means bumblebee. The last cluster is Moirofala. In words, Shamrat means king and Nomro means humble. Another clusters are Poiloi. Bangla Banjan Borno, Po and Lo form the conjunct Poiloi. Here, both of the consonants retain their shapes. It can be seen in words like Plabon, which means flood, Biplob means revolution, and Plobota means buoyancy. The cluster is Moiloi. Conjunct Moiloi is formed when Banjan Borno, Mo and Lo comes together as a cluster. The first member changes its shape, though the latter retains. In words, we can get Omlo means acid and Mlan, which means withered. Now, we will learn those conjuncts where Ontostho Borno is the first member of the clusters and the second member will be from different Borgo or classes. We will also check if they change their respective shapes or not. The first merge is Ontostho Borno with Ko Borgo. Here, we will see 4 conjunct formations. Among of them, 3 clusters are associated with Ref, another diacritic of Boishuno Ro, additional to Rofala. Let's discuss them with the examples. The first cluster is Koi Ref. Whenever Boishuno Ro make conjunct with any other consonant members as first members of the conjunct, it occurs as Ref. Similar in case of Ko also. We have examples like Torko, which means debate, Shotorko, which means cautious, and Korkot means crab. The second cluster is Goi Ref. The first member is Boishuno Ro make conjunct with Go, forming the conjunct Goi Ref. In words, we have Durgo means fort and Borgo means square. The third cluster is Ghoi Ref. Banjan Borno Boishuno Ro make conjunct with Gho. In words, we have Dirgho, which means long, and Durghotona means accident. The last cluster of this merge is Loi Koi. In this conjunct, we can see that Lo and Ko retain their original form, and Ko is placed under Lo, forming the cluster Loi Koi. In words, we have Halka, which means lightweight, Ulka, which means comet, and Shulko means tax. When Ontostho Borno merges with Cho Borgo, we get one cluster. The cluster is Borgio Joy Ref, where Boishuno Ro make conjunct with Borgio Jo. In words, we have Nirjon means desolate and Borjon means exclusion. The next merge is Ontostho Borno with To Borgo. Here we have 2 clusters. The first one is Loi Toi. This conjunct is used for borrowed words in Bangla. For example, belt and Polton. The second cluster is Murdhunnoy Ref. When Rafala is attached with Murdhunno, it forms this conjunct. In words, you can see Purno Ched means full stop and Bistirno means vast. Now, the merging will happen between Ontostho Borno and To Borgo. Here, we can find 3 clusters and all the 3 clusters are combined with Ref. The first cluster is Toi Ref. In this conjunct, Banjan Borno Ro make cluster with To and it comes as Toi Ref. In words, we can get Kortobbo, which means duty, and Shorto means condition. The second consonant cluster is Doi Ref. In this cluster, Ref is attached with Do. For example, Fordo, which means list, and Nordoma, which means drain. The third cluster is Dhoi Ref. Banjan Borno Boishuno Ro make conjunct with Dho. In words, we have Songbardhana, which means felicitation, and Ardhabritto means half circle. The last merge of Antastha Borno is with Paborgo. The first three clusters are with ref. Those are Poe ref, which can be found in words like Dorpon means mirror and Shantarpon, which means tender care. Next is Boy ref, which can be seen in Durbal means weak and Ashirvad means blessings. Then there is Moe ref. It is found in Bormo means armor and Kormo, which is action. The next cluster is Loe Poe. Banjanborno Lo merges with Po and form the Loe Poe cluster. In this cluster, the second member Po attaches below the first member Lo. Both of the consonants here retain their shapes while forming the cluster. In words, we have Golpo, which means story, and Olpo means little. Then we get the conjunct Loe Moe. Conjunct Loe Moe is formed when Banjanborno Lo and Mo comes together as a cluster. The second member changes its shape though the former retains. In words, we have Gulmo means bush and Balmiki, which is a mythical character. After Antastha Borno, there are Talobosha, Murdhanasha, Dontesha, and Ho. These four are called Ushma Borno. The first merger is between Ushma Borno and Ko Borgo. The first conjunct is Murdhanasha Koi. In this conjunct, we can see that Murdhanasha and Ko are creating a new formation. Please notice that when these two consonants are merging, they form a completely different shape. In words, we have Shushko, which means dry, and Porishkar means clean. The second conjunct is Donte Shoe Koi. In this conjunction, we can see that Donte Sho and Ko are creating a new formation. Please notice that they form a shape where Ko almost manages to retain its actual shape, but the former member changes its shape completely. We have words like Namaskar, which is a cultural greeting, and Purushkar means prize. The third conjunct is Donte Shoe Khoi. In this conjunction, we can see that Sho and Kho are creating a new cluster. Please notice that they form a shape where Kho almost manages to retain its actual shape, but Donte Sho fails to do the same. Bangla word skholon means an unexpected skid. When the merge of Ushma Borno and Cho Borno happens, the first consonant cluster is Talubo Shoy Choy. We get. In this conjunction, we can see that Talubo Sho and Cho retain their original form, but these two consonants are placed side by side. We have this conjunct in words like Nishchoy, which means definitely, and Poshchim, which means west direction. The second consonant cluster is Talibo Shoy Choy. The inaugural consonant cluster comprises the sequence Talibo Sho and Cho. In this orthographic configuration, both Talibo Sho and Cho retain their forms. This particular conjunct is observable in lexemes such as Nishchitro, meaning compact. The next merge is Ushma Borno with To Borgo. Here, the first conjunct is Murdhun Noy Shoy Toy. In this conjunction, we get that Murdhun Sho and To are creating a cluster. Please notice that when these two consonants are merging, they form a completely different shape. We can see this in words like Koshto means sorrow or pain and Jotheshto means enough. The second conjunct is Murdhan Noy Shoy Toy. In this first conjunct, Murdhan No Shoy Toy, here the consonants Murdhan No Shoy and To merge to form a cluster, creating a new shape. This effect is evident in words like Shoshto, meaning sixth, Prishtha means page, and Sreshto means greatest. The third conjunct we have is Mordhanya Shoy Mordhanya. In this instance, the conjunct is Mordhanya Shoy Mordhanya. Here, the consonants Mordhanya Sho and Mordhanya coalesce to forge a cluster, yielding a typographical form that is markedly distinct from their individual representations. This morphological phenomenon is exemplified in lexemes such as Trishna, which denotes thirst, and Ushno, which means lukewarm. The fourth conjunct is Donte Shoytoy. In this conjunction, we can notice Donte Sho and To merge with each other, where both To and Sho manages to retain its actual shape. It is actually used for borrowed words like station and master. The last consonant cluster of these series is Hoy Mordhanya. Within this conjunct, the graphemes Ho and Mordhanya coalesce. The first character retain its structure, but the latter cannot do the same. The words we have here is Oporanno, meaning afternoon. The next merge is Ushmaborno with Toborgo. The first conjunct is Talibo Shoy Dontennoy. In this specific instance, we observe that the graphemes Talibo Shoy and Dontennoy, while retaining their individual orthographic shapes, are juxtaposed to form a conjunct consonant. This orthographic configuration is exemplified in lexeme such as Proshno, means question. The second conjunct is Donte Shoy Toy. In this conjunction, we can see that Donte Sho and To are creating a new conjunct. Please notice that they form a shape where Donte Sho cannot manage to retain its actual shape, but To can. In words, we have Asto means whole and Posto means poppy. The third cluster is Donte Shoy Thoy. In this conjunction, we can see that Donte Sho and Tho are creating a new conjunct. Please notice that they form a shape where Donte Sho cannot manage to retain its actual shape, but Tho also changed and looked like Ho. It can be seen in Shustho, which means healthy, and Sthan means place. The fourth cluster is Donte Shoy Dontennoy. In this conjunct also, the first member Donte Sho changes its shape like previously, but the second member Dontenno retain its shape. We have words like Snan, which means bath, and Snehu means affection. The last cluster is Hoy Dontennoy. Banjan Borno Ho and Dontenno forms the cluster Hoy Dontennoy. Here, only the second member Dontenno changes its shape. In words, we have Modhenno, means noon, and Chinno, meaning sign. The next merge is Ushmaborno with Poborgo. The first cluster of this set is Talebo Shoy Moy. This consonant cluster consists of the sequence Talebo Sho followed by Mo. Within this orthographic construct, Talebo Sho preserve their intrinsic forms, but Mo does not. This specific conjunct manifests in lexical items such as Jibasho, meaning fossil, and Roshi, meaning ray. The second cluster of this set is Mordhanya Shoy Poi. In this conjunction, we can see that Mordhanya Sho and Po are creating a new formation. Please notice that they form a shape where Po almost manages to retain its actual shape. We have words like Pushpo means flower and Bashpo means stream. Their third cluster is Mordhanya Shoy Foy. In this conjunct, the characters Mordhanya Sho and Fo coalesce into a distinct morphological unit. Notably, only Fo preserves its intrinsic structure within this fusion. Examples of such formation include words like Nishfal, meaning futile. The fourth cluster is Donte Shoy Poi. In this conjunction, we can see that Donte Sho and Po are creating a new formation. Please notice that they form a shape where Po almost manages to retain its actual shape, but Donte Sho cannot. It can be seen in Poroshpor, which means mutual or reciprocal, and Spondon means pulse. The fifth cluster is Donte Shoe Foe. In this conjunction, Donte Sho and Fo are creating the cluster Donte Shoe Foe. Please notice that they form a shape where Fo almost manages to retain its actual shape. In words, we have sphotic means crystal. The sixth cluster is Donte Shoe Moi. Donte Sho and Mo form this cluster. Here, Mo retain its shape, but Donte Sho changed completely. In words, we have Sriti means memory and Bhosho means ash. The last cluster is Hoe Moi. In this conjunction, we can see that Ho and Mo are creating new formation. Please notice that when these two consonants are merging, they form a completely different shape. It can be seen in Brahma, which means a mythical character, and Brahmando means universe. Now, the last merge of this class is Ushma Borno with Antostha Borno. Here we have 3 clusters with Jophala, 2 clusters with Rofala, 3 clusters with Bofala, and another 2 clusters where Banjan Borno Law is attached as a second member. The Jophala clusters are Taliboshoy Jophala, which can be found in words like Sham means black and Shadrisho means similarity. Second, we have Murdhanya Shoy Jophala, which can be seen in words like Shisho means disciple. Next is Hoy Jophala, which is found in words like Shojjo means tolerance. The Rofala clusters are Taliboshoy Rofala, which is found in words like Shrabon, which is a Bengali month. Next is Hoy Rofala. It can be seen in Rash, meaning decline, and Rod, meaning lake. The Bofala conjuncts are Taliboshoy Bofala in words like Osho, meaning horse, and Bisho means world. Next is Donte Shoy Bofala in words like Shad means taste and Shade means sweat. Last is Hoy Bofala in words like Ahoban means summoning. The last 2 clusters are Taliboshoy Law. It can be seen in Slash means irony or taunt, and Slagha means glorification. The next is Hoyloi. It is found in words like Allad means delight, and Prollad, which is also a mythical character. Wonderful. That's how we have reached the end of the consonant cluster section. Keep on practicing these clusters for perfection. See you in the next class.